morning, guys. You've seen me do this stretch 100 times, and you know it's for my hip flexor quad mechanism. You know that we got the foot out in front to make sure we keep our low back safe. Well, I want to take you through a little advanced version of that flexibility stretch. But before I do that, I want to teach you a little bit about the hip flexor and quad mechanism. When you look at the hip flexor quad, it's really a three-plane muscle like all muscles are. It extends, or it lengthens by hip extension, lateral side bending away, and rotation away. So that's how we lengthen it out. The problem is a lot of our stretches don't take into consideration all three planes of motion. Therefore, what happens a lot of times is you lengthen out in one plane, but you stay very restricted in the other two planes. So one of those planes that stays restricted, and I see it restricted a lot, is the lateral compartment. Alright, so the lateral part of the hip flexor quad mechanism, and mostly because we don't lengthen it out very well in the lateral flexion. So I want to show you kind of an advanced version of that. Once you're able to do the other stretches that I've showed you for the hip flexor quad, try this one out. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the band and we're going to place it around our foot like we always do, but we're going to keep this foot at the top. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put this foot out in front. So we're going to start here and put it out in front like so. Now I'm going to put it in this hand so I can lock it up. Now because I'm side bending towards the side, this is a very comfortable position. Matter of fact, very often this could look a little bit like a hurdler stretch. The good news is though, we got this leg up in front, which is protecting our low back. Now you'll see the knee is flat on the ground. You'll see that I'm straight here, so I'm not torquing through the medial compartment of the knee. That's going to be really important because now as I hold this here, I'm going to slowly lower myself down and let that compartment lengthen. Control is all right here, so I get a nice stretch here. If it's too much, I just back it off. Now, if I want to get rotation away, it works out really easy because I'll lateral flex. I already have hip extension. I've maxed that out by getting as far back as I can. Trunk is controlled. Now I can get lateral flexion and I can get rotation very easily away. This knee is way up in front, but what I'm going to focus on a lot in this position is lateral flexion. I'm going to drive it by taking the arm up over top, and slowly I'm going to see if I can get my body flat to the ground but not let that medial compartment of that knee come off the ground. So I'm going to go right here and I'm going to lengthen out. Wow. You want more? Take up more of hip extension. Alright, but again, make sure your trunk is controlled so you're not overextending that anterior capsule, and then go ahead and just side bend. It's a really easy way to go ahead and get great lateral compartment stretching of that hip flexor quad mechanism and really emphasize the lateral component or the frontal plane component of that stretch. Now remember too, you can always use different size bands, so don't feel like you got to start out with a black band. You can easily start out with a red band and start stretching that out. But remember, do the other ones first, get those good, and then progress to that. But I think you'll find this is a nice little advanced version of the hip flexor quad stretch.